Hello, my name is Jessie, and I'm from Trinity Baptist Church in Amarillo, and today I'll be telling you the story of Esther from the book of Esther in the Bible. And it's a story of providence, or of how someone provides something for other people who can't do it themselves. And so the story begins with Queen Esther, and she has been chosen to be queen by King Xerxes, who is the king at that time in Persia. And she is an orphan Jewish girl, and nobody in the kingdom really knows that she's a Jew, but she's been raised by her uncle Mordecai, who is also a Jew. And so as Esther becomes queen, her uncle Mordecai learns that there are a couple of guys that are plotting to kill King Xerxes, and he tells Queen Esther, and she tells the king, and they save the king's life in that plot. Around that same time, there's another powerful man named Haman in the kingdom who is very proud and arrogant and has decided that he doesn't like Mordecai, Esther's uncle, because Mordecai won't show him the respect that he thinks he deserves. So Haman decides that he would really like to just completely kill Mordecai and wipe out his entire people for the disrespect that he's suffered at Mordecai's hands. So he starts thinking of ways that he can do this. Well, he goes to the king and has the king sign an edict that all of the Jewish people can be killed on a certain day that's about a year ahead of time. So Mordecai finds out about this and is completely upset and goes to his niece, Queen Esther, and tells her what's going on. And he asks her to go to King Xerxes to try to get him to overturn this law that he's sent out. And so Queen Esther knows that the king may not see it that way, but she goes to the king and asks for a favor from him. And the king says, "Sure, whatever you want. I'll give you up to half of my kingdom. What would you like?" And the queen says, "I would like to throw you a feast for you and Haman tonight." And the king says, "That's a great idea. I'll be there." So they show up, and at the feast, the king asks Queen Esther, "What do you really want? So tell me again what you would like." And the Queen Esther says, "I'd really like to throw you another feast tomorrow night for you and Haman." And the king agrees. So Haman leaves that night, and he is just really happy. He's chosen by the king and queen to go to these feasts, and he thinks that he is a really cool guy. And he runs into Mordecai again, and is just overcome again by how angry he is with Mordecai and the lack of respect that he gets from him. So he goes home and tells his wife and friends about how angry he is at Mordecai, and they tell him he should just kill him. Just build a really big platform and just kill him the next day so that he can go to the feast and be happy through the feast. So Haman says that's a great idea and starts to build the platform. The same night, between those two feasts, the king has trouble sleeping. So he asks people to read him the records of his kingdom. And they read him the story of how Mordecai saved his life. And the king realizes that he never thanked Mordecai at all. And so he continues to think overnight of ways that he could show Mordecai how happy he was with him. And when Haman comes in the morning ready to kill Mordecai, the king asks him instead, "How do you think I should show that I'm really pleased with someone in my kingdom?" And Haman thinks he's talking about himself. So he gives him an answer, and the king says, "That is wonderful. You go do exactly what you just told me for Mordecai, because I'm really pleased with Mordecai." So Haman goes all day and spends all day telling all the people in the city how great Mordecai is, and then has to go to the feast that same night with Queen Esther and the king again. And the king asks Queen Esther again, "What can I do for you? What do you really want from me?" And the queen says, "Well, there's someone that's trying to kill me and all of my people, the Jewish people in your country, and you've said that this is okay." And the king gets furious and asks who could be doing this to her and her people. And she says, "It's Haman, the guy that's sitting right next to you at the feast." And the king gets very angry and ends up giving Queen Esther all of Haman's property and Mordecai all of Haman's job and all of his titles and things. So that's the story of Queen Esther and how she was able to provide for her people something that they couldn't do for themselves. A story of providence from the book of Esther.